Hello everyone, welcome back to Witches the Moon. I'm your Friday hostess Natalie, and today you are getting me au naturel. I do apologize, it is Sunday and I am just now getting to record this week's video. And I'm already trying to get the graphic together for next week's video, so I apologize. I'm also going to apologize for not having my big ass bag of crystals that I brought home with me to kind of show some of the crystals that I typically work with. I cannot seem to find my bag anywhere, so I'm just going to talk about how I use crystals in my practice and why I find them beneficial. For those of you that are new to the craft, you may not be aware that everything on this planet vibrates with its own frequency of energy. It's called a fundamental frequency, and it is something that we talk about in hearing science. I first heard about this in my undergraduate hearing science class. When you think about this, think about how when an opera singer is singing and she's able to shatter the glass, and you might say, how is she able to do that with just her voice? She's able to do that because she's matching the frequency level of her voice to the fundamental frequency of the glass. So for example, if I was to hit the right note, I could shatter my own body or your body into 1,000 different molecules. That's fundamental frequency. So crystals are no different because they come from this earth. They have a fundamental frequency, and each one vibrates at a different frequency. So crystals are very good at channeling that kind of energy. Now, different crystals over the years have been shown to, or have been found to correspond with certain things. And if you are a believer in the Hindu chakra system, which I kind of ascribe to the chakra system belief myself, I find that certain crystals help me to clear my chakras and to focus my energy into a certain area. I often use crystals as a focal point, combining my energy with theirs for a specific purpose. And so I will use crystals in that regard, in terms of I will place crystals on my chakra points when I do a chakra cleansing meditation. Or I may hold them in my hand and focus on the frequency that I feel in the crystal that I feel corresponds with the chakra that I'm trying to cleanse. I will also use crystals as a booster for spells or for magic. So sometimes I will include bits of crystals into spell bottles or into spells. I may even use a crystal grid. Now, crystal grids are something that I'm relatively new to using in my craft. I am in the process of trying to make myself a crystal grid board. I do pyrography, which is the wood burning, but I'm not very good in terms of getting an even type of mandala chart. So I'm trying to come up with some sort of a template that I can use to draw the crystal grid onto the board, because certain points mathematically correspond to certain things, and I want to have a good strong crystal grid that I can use in various ways, different configurations for different feelings or spell work. And when I do this, I typically will rely on my intuition. What feels right to me is what I will go with. Same thing when I'm choosing what crystals to use. Some crystals correspond to specific things, like I said, but sometimes I may get a sensation or a feeling that something else may be a better choice for this particular spell, and I will go with that. And sometimes I'll include shavings or crushed crystals, like I have a bottle of crushed lapis lazuli that Michelle Katie Breslin sent me, and I absolutely love it. I love lapis lazuli. It's one of my favorites, and I will use it sometimes in spells to boost power or to give a concentration. I also use it to open my throat chakra because it corresponds to that color. So I use lapis lazuli to clear my throat chakra because I'm a speech pathologist, and so I do a lot of work with my voice, my throat. I often get sore if I get exposed to strep throat, which happens a lot in my field. I will use lapis lazuli to help cleanse that and keep me from getting that, because I'm one of those people that if, as a kid, I had strep all the time, and you'd be surprised, but they did not take my tonsils out. I wish they would take them out, but they will not now because I'm an adult. But I will use lapis lazuli to create a protective realm around my throat so that I don't gain that bacteria, and I have found it useful. I have not had a case of strep since I started doing that, so that's pretty good, and I've been exposed to it several times. When I was a kid, if anybody in the school had it, didn't matter if they were in my class or not, if they were in the school and somebody got strep, I would get it. So it's a relief to not have to deal with that because it's really miserable. So crystals can be used for meditation focal points, which I often do. I have a large amethyst, which I've shown in videos before, that I use. I don't have it readily available to me. It's behind me over here on the shelf. But my tree is in the way, so I'm not going to try to fight the tree to get to the crystal, but it's about this big around. I also have a crystal ball that I use for meditation and scrying purposes. That's a clear crystal. I think I've shown Lucille before, but she's my Lucille ball. Clever, I know. Not too original, but clever. But I love that crystal, and I will often use it for meditation and scrying. I will also hold crystals in my hand when I meditate to help me kind of get my vibration into a higher realm. And I use crystals when sending healing to other people. So I find that clear crystal quartz is good to carry with me if I know I'm going into a situation where I'm going to need clarity of thought. And I do sleep with a piece of rose quartz and a piece of moonstone, princess moonstone, in my pillowcase to help me have more pleasant dreams, because I was having really seriously bad dreams that were waking me up. So I find that those things will help. And when I do, in terms of crystal care, I do cleanse my crystals. I like to charge my crystals in the full moon, depending on which crystals and what I'm using for. Some crystals I will charge in the new moon that I'm using for things that are more Morrigan-esque in my dealings. I will then cleanse them under the new moon and charge them that way. And when I cleanse my crystals, I either soak them in a salt water bath and then let them dry, or I will cleanse them with Florida water. And I basically just kind of soak them in it and then dry them off or let them air dry. And that's how I deal with my crystals. I would love to hear some feedback from you guys on how you use yours in your craft and what you do, and any ideas that you have for the crystal grid would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, and again, I apologize for this video being so very late, but I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks.